My book is about people who have undergone enough of what I would call an awakening to who they really are, to what reality really is. This awakening has affected their relationship to themselves, their relationship to reality, in a way that is irreversible. Now, the people who I've been interviewing and meeting, they don't really fit established pigeonholes. We don't have a word for the kind of people I'm talking about. See, they're no longer seekers or followers, which is one word we have for people who are involved in spiritual practice and spiritual life. They're not really seeking because they have had enough of a marination in their own nature, in peace, in silence, in love, that it can't be worn off. So it's like that the game's up on seeking. However, these people, they don't fit the established definition or expectations of enlightenment, which are inherited mostly from Oriental traditions. Now, that's not to say that they are kind of partially enlightened and waiting to become enlightened. Most of the people I've interviewed, and some of them are very well known, really, I would say they've cancelled their subscription to the idea of enlightenment as a fixed state that you need to kind of work towards. They have fallen irreversibly into the present moment, with all of its inconveniences, with all of its feelings and stresses and difficulties, but they've seen through the myth of the mind that keeps creating past and future and desire. So I don't know how you describe a person like that. They don't fit the idea of, Buddha or somebody just completely transparent, you see. They don't fit the idea of somebody just driven by desire and, I want more money and, a six-pack and, whatever. They don't fit the idea of a spiritual seeker working towards a goal. It's, to my view, a new kind of spiritually awake human being who is at the same time profoundly honest and accepting, embracing of their humanity. So I call them translucent. The word translucent simply means not opaque. Something that's opaque, you can't see through it at all. So somebody who's just living out of compulsive desire and their own agenda and fundamentalist beliefs would be opaque because they're absolutely solid, Somebody who's transparent, theoretically, would be, there's just cosmic goo flowing through them and no trace of human tendencies. I've never met anybody like that, and I'm not sure that it's really exactly possible, but that's the theory of a transparent person. Translucent means that there is an awakening to the impersonal, the eternal, what is eternally free, but there's an absolutely relaxed acceptance and willingness to feel the human at the same time. So I call it translucent, and translucent also, I want to differentiate, if I may, between that word and enlightenment, because so much of our spiritual inheritance falls back on this word enlightenment. So one of the results of my research in talking to different people was that I realized there really is no such thing as enlightenment. There is no fixed state that everybody can agree on. Right? I talk to a lot of people. Most people I talk to have just abandoned the idea of enlightenment completely. The people who do believe in enlightenment in some way, because their teacher told them, that's usually how you have a relationship to enlightenment. My guru is enlightened, and I'm a piece of dog doo-doo still, but if I work hard, I'm going to get to this state in the future. So you project it onto somebody else, or Buddha, or Padmasambhava, or Jesus, or whoever is enlightened, and I'm not. So we have a concept about what it should be like. The thing is that people really don't agree about what that concept means or what it should look like. Well, since not everybody agrees, then it's obviously a concept, isn't it? It's not a fixed thing that everyone can agree on. So being a concept, it's somewhat irrelevant. and a tremendous distraction from the present moment. So I differentiate between translucence and enlightenment, because enlightenment implies a fixed state that you work towards and then boof, you know, just like scoring a goal in football. Then
Arriving.
Yeah, arriving. Translucence is always a journey. It's a journey of eternal evolution, greater expression, greater unfolding. Yeah. So translucence is endless enlightening rather than enlightenment, and it's a relative term. You see, you could be enlightenment is like you're it or you're not it. Translucence is you could be more translucent and more translucent and more translucent. You could be really translucent all day Monday and quite opaque on Tuesdays, you know. And it's also open to opinion, you know. Somebody might think of you as really translucent, somebody else might not. And so it's a much more malleable and open-ended word, which I like. I appreciate that we don't need to be so black and white about these things. It also allows for the fact, you know, that enlightenment implies an absolute state. You know, boom, you're enlightened, and then everything that comes out of you after that point is liquid gold. Translucence allows for the fact that you can be very translucent in one arena of your life and quite opaque in others. Mm-hmm. For example, there was a period of my life where when I was teaching, I was very translucent, but in my marriage, I was quite opaque. Mm. And that can be confusing until you realize, yeah, the light can really shine well through us in some arenas. And then that allows for the possibility of practice, not to work towards a goal, but just to keep opening more and more dimensions in which translucence can shine.